Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mad Dog's Musical Story Time Part 2. So last time, we saw my first musical. Today, we're going to take a look at my second musical ever. As we saw in the last video, we had done Peter Pan in my junior year. Up to that point, I had been part of the school choir, been part of the a cappella choir, boys choir, jazz choir, did a small stint. I forgot to mention this too. Did a small stint in marching band. I'll tell this story to preference my time in marching band and or my time in band. Um, my sophomore slash junior year, we had one of our tenor saxophones who was part of marching band unfortunately leave. I forget if they moved to a different school or just wasn't able to do band anymore. So me being the kind of person I am, with my love of trying to help people out when I can, offered, hey, I can't play music or shit, but I can march. So if you guys need a physical filler for your tenor sax, that works. And they thought about it for Mr. Williams, our band director, thought about it for a little bit. And he goes, well, the tenor sax we lost doesn't have a whole lot of play time, but you still might have to learn how to play a few notes. I'm like, I can do that. Couldn't do it. I marched one game, and at the same time I was still the school's high school mascot. So the usually like when that whole like half that season for football, I would say we were going to a away game, say we were going to Camp Hill or something. I'd go to Camp Hill in the mascot costume. I'd do the first half of the game in the mascot costume, like maybe 10 minutes before um, halftime. I would go to the locker room, either the boys' football locker room or just find a random spot that the school, and be like, hey, I gotta change into costume, blah blah. Usually Camp Hill, Trinity, and there was another school, Middletown, I think. They were the three top schools that were super accommodating for me. The staff was really cool. Their mascot, I think it was Middletown's. No, Palmyra. Palmyra's mascot. Me and him, we got in touch like a week before we went to Palmyra for a game one time. We did a whole fight skit and everything at the beginning. Like we got off our buses at the school, and I told him, dude, meet us there. We'll get into this like face to face conf, and then we'll just do a little like a shoving match to get everybody hype. And it happened. It fucking worked great. Everybody was hyped. Yeah, the teams afterwards, like they all, it was a cool game because it was a super competitive game. But at the same time, there was that cool like kind of thing behind it. So that was always fun. We'll talk about the mascot stuff in another video. But going into my senior year, I had already been wrestling the previous year during our Peter Pan musical. So, like I said in the last video, I would have to go into the gym locker room to change into my wrestling singlet, all my warm up stuff, my shoes, my headgear, everything like that. And then I'd go do warm ups with the team, and then right after, like maybe half hour before the actual matches would start, I would go back to the auditorium, still in all my wrestling gear, read lines, do whatever we had to do, and then I would run right back to the wrestling locker room, and we'd go out for our matches and stuff. So that was interesting. Um, at this point, I had really wanted to finish out my senior year wrestling instead of doing the musical. Unfortunately, but they didn't have anybody to do the role that they didn't have anybody that fit the role that they had. They didn't have anybody, so they came to me and they were like, "Hey, we know you're not particular about it, but how would you feel about it?" I'm like, "You know what? Fine. That sounds cool." Family was more into me doing the performance stuff than wrestling, which we'll get to that later. But anyway, auditioned, show went great. Now we were all very kind of apprehensive at first because it was a really big difference between a lot of the fantasy kind of stuff that we had done. We had done Willy Wonka prior. We had done Princess and the Pea. We had just done Peter Pan. And to go with Pajama Game, which is more of like a history kind of show, more or less set in like the 40s, 30s kind of time era, 50s maybe, and a lot different of a mindset in the show. Now, I was kind of alright because, like I said in the previous video, I had started singing all together with Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, a lot of those guys. So that was kind of second nature for me, but a lot of people that didn't know the older style of singing or the older style of performing or the older style of acting, that's where they kind of had to, dive in. But a lot of the guys that we had, perfectly fine with that kind of thing. So today we're going to be reviewing just some of my random pieces from Pajama Game. Now, this wasn't a show that we were completely agreeing on, but at the same time, once it was over, I actually really enjoyed it. And then listening to the music from the actual stage show, and there was an actual movie done for this, which is cool because the actor who had played in the movie for Pajama Game was the original actor for the stage show. So like if you look up Pajama Game and you look up like Sid Sorokin's music, like you'll see me sing in the show. If you look at the stage music that they released, like the studio version of like the stage soundtrack, it sounds the singer for Sid sounds exactly the same compared to the movie soundtrack because it's the same guy. I always love that. I love when they're able to pluck the stage actors into the movies and everything because that's the best way you're gonna go to get the most accurate performance. But anywho, I digress. So today, like I said, we are going to do something not different, but we're gonna review my second musical. And again, this is a fun time. This is just a great time all together. And the people that I was able to work with at the time were fantastic. The cast was fantastic. Again, the music was a little different, but at the same time, it was still fun. It was still really fun. So we're just gonna hop right into it. This is the first scene that I was actually in for the show. They'd done a couple of musical numbers and introduced some of the characters, and this was Sid coming into the show for the first time. So here we go. We're just gonna play the whole scene and go from there.
We can fix the machine while they're at lunch. No, wait, it's the number 9. Here you are. Thanks.
So I gotta make a random note. So all these little desks and everything here with the sewing machines, those sewing machines are made out of complete foam. And the scaffolding behind everybody, we built all that. A lot of these desks were just regular school desks that we just put stuff around and made them look like old school sewing machine stations. A lot of the clothes and stuff, a lot of us had to go out and buy. Some of it we had. It was fantastic.
This new super won't last.
This is Sam Signor and Bailey Whitebread, two of the pirates.
The whole second floor was broke down and they couldn't find him. He was fixing a boiler, and then he yells at me. I don't stand for that. There are plenty of other places I can work. I don't have to take that kind of crap off of nobody.
Hand me a screwdriver.
You know what they're paying up at the packing plant? 93 up. But that ain't hay neither.
Screwdriver.
Mr. Sorokin?
Yes, Mabel.
Mr. Hassler's gone down to the shipping room. He wants to see you right away.
I can't. I'm fixing the machine.
Yes, I know. Mr. Hassler can be difficult sometimes. You're the third superintendent we've had this year.
And I'm the last superintendent you'll have this year, Mabel. I want this job.
Oh, you don't say.
Now you're talking, boy.
We've got to have another switch somewhere.
I'll tell him you're awful busy.
Thanks.
And let me tell you something else. They're paying 84 up at the casket company.
My gosh. You'd be a sensation up at the casket company. Maybe you can get a job as a tester and lie around in coffins all day long. Now hurry up.
Yeah, I'm hurrying.
Well, hurry faster.
Hey! You can't do that to me.
The hell I can. I just did. You have the screws?
Well, I'll fix you. I'm getting the grievance committee.
Go get them. It'll give you something to do.
I don't have to take that crap off of nobody.
Go away, boy. You bother me.
I'll show you. Oh, my weak arm, too.
That grievance committee can start quite a rhubarb.
This whole town is a rhubarb.
You'll get used to it.
I hope so. Listen, there's got to be another switch and some more screws around here.
I'll go down to the storehouse.
Go give him a hand.
So when we rehearsed that whole scene, I love that scene. Me and Sam and all those guys working together. I loved it. That was one of my favorite scenes. It's so small, but it's just there's so much character stuff in there. I love it. but when we first rehearsed that, a lot of the guys knew I was a fan of wrestling. A lot of people didn't know that I was training and or was a wrestler at the time. So a lot of people came up to me after and were like, "Where did you figure out like that, like boss presence and everything?" I'm like, "Oh no, that's just like my wrestling presence. Like that's how I am in wrestling." And they're like, "Wow." But like I remember at one point we were messing around in rehearsal one time, and the director, I can't remember who I was working with, but it was somebody else in that scene because we were just reading lines, and instead of doing like the fake out and everything, I just grabbed whoever it was by the shirt and picked him up off the ground, and everybody was like, "Oh my god," thinking that I was pissed off or something. And I was like, "Go away, boy, you bother me," and just set him down real nice, fixed his shirt, and just tapped him on the chest. And they're like, "Dude, if we could put that in the show, that'd be amazing, but we have to follow the script." I'm like, "Shit, fine." But yeah, no, it was just great. It was just great.
A new town is a blue town. Who do you know and show me what you can do, town? There's no red carpet at your feet. If you're not tough, they'll try to beat you down in a new blue town.
The makeup was atrocious. I hated the makeup.
Old town.
One thing I hate about stage
It's
performances,
not like the old town.
and no, I will not be growing my hair, styling my hair like that anymore.
You're in a cold town, but you know you can lick it. Didn't buy a round trip ticket to this cold, cold new blue town. Well, nobody asked me to come here, and nobody asked me to stay. Made up my own mind, and I know I will find my own way. Since that first day when I said hi, town, they've damn well tried to make me say goodbye, town. But I won't leave until I make it my town. They'll see this one-horse, two-bit hick of a new town ain't gonna lick me.
Mr. Hassler's looking for you.
Did you get lost? I was fixing the machine.
I sent it for you in the shipping room.
Don't pay any attention to him, Sid.
Thanks.
And just when did you get so familiar with him? Sid, what does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. I just like being friendly.
Friend, you're always flirting.
Oh!
Since that first day when I said hi, town, they damn well tried to make me say goodbye, town. But I won't leave until I make it my town. They'll see this one-horse, two-bit hick of a new town ain't gonna lick me.
When I send for you, I expect you. That's how we run things around here.
Mr. Sorokin, I told you to be careful. When I heard about you beating up that boy,
I didn't beat him up.
he's dangling his arm like it was hurt terrible.
Let him go take it up with the grievance committee.
He's doing that. Don't worry. Here comes Babe Williams now.
I'd be delighted to talk to him.
All right, mister. Here's the committee.
So, before we start this scene, I will preference this 100%. I have no ill will towards anybody at this point in my life, here in the year of our Lord 2021. I have no ill will towards anybody I ever performed with, whether it was in the stage, wrestling, whatever. But at the time, the young, talented lady playing Babe was our musical director's daughter, Paige. Fantastic performer, an amazingly smart student. Personally, and this is just personal opinion, had an ego the size of goddamn Texas. We just butted heads a lot, and that can happen when you have people with differences in opinion and mindset. I'm a combat sports loving fucking raised redneck from Pennsylvania who loves Celtic military history and just a bunch of dust and professional wrestling, like a bunch of stuff. She wasn't like that. She was a basketball player. She was a chorus student. She was super smart. I commend her with all the performances that she did from when we did Peter Pan. She was one of the Lost Boys, all that kind of stuff. Super talented, great person. For me, at that time, shitty person to work with. But at the same time, no ill will at the moment. Just wanted to preference that. The big thing that we had was this, like we said before in our Peter Pan video, there was a whole weekend of performances. We had Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday was just we would show a scene of the show to the student body, the elementary, middle school, the rest of the high school, blah, blah. This recording, I believe, was from our Saturday night show. And I remember so much that in this point in the show, there's a point where there's hesitation between lines, I think between me and Babe. And when we got back, I was feeling confident about the scene altogether. I had already forgotten about it, and they said that it was me. Apparently here, no, it was Paige. Paige had forgotten her lines. And I didn't think anything of it until years later, me rewatching this, and I'm like, ah! So there's that. But again, no ill will. It happens to the best of us, and I guarantee you that if you were to watch all the recordings from Peter Pan and this, there's probably a shit ton of times I flubbed lines or I missed a cue or something like that. So it happens to everybody, but it more or less, it's kind of funny in my context of them bum rushing me after this scene and being like, you fucking rah, 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 rah. And then as they're walking away, the one dude literally is looking at Paige. And I can hear him too. I can hear him look at her and go, Paige, that was your line you missed. But not thinking I would hear it. It's like, So there's that. But again, no ill will at this point in life. Everybody did the best that they possibly could, and fucking mistakes happen. It is what it is.
So, this is the committee.
That's right, Mr. Sorokin. This is the committee.
Charlie, this grievance committee is different.
Never mind the snow job.
All right, so I shoved
Snow
it.
job.
What's the next move?
He says you hit him.
No, I just... Listen, Miss Wilson, I have a lot on my mind,
Her
and...
name is Miss Williams.
What's the difference?
I'm sorry, Miss Williams.
It doesn't matter.
Well, he ought to know the committee's right name.
And again, her line.
Take it easy. Look.
There it
I've
is.
got quite a few problems with Leon right now.
But
and he says you
in
suck.
itself, if we've been running this for months and everything, and we already know the context of the lines, if someone goes to defend you, and you know your line is for you to interrupt them to not cause any more malice in the situation from the character context, how is it that hard to fucking remember? Just saying. It's one of those everybody has those little high school quirks that they just over-obsess about over years and years and years, and that, unfortunately, is one of mine. Just putting it out there.
Yes, I do.
Let's say I shoved him. It sounds more refined.
Mr. Sorokin, Mr. Hassler wants to see you in his office right away.
Tell him I'll be right there. Listen, this is a lot of damn nonsense.
We don't happen to think so, Mr. Sorokin. You're not supposed to strike an employee. We have rules about this.
For both sides, I hope. Now listen, I'm going to lay it all on the table here. This young man needs vocational guidance.
You think so?
I do. I can see him as a bank president. I don't think he's happy being a factory worker.
I don't see what all this has to do with it.
Take it easy. Well, it seems you've made quite a first impression on our new superintendent.
You can't shove me around, especially on my weak arm.
Look, Miss Williams, I need to get this factory up and running. Can we take this up at another time?
Of course we can. It's all in the rule book. Go tell the nurse to check out your arm and send me the reports.
He ain't got no right to push me around. It was broke once already.
Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Williams.
It's all in the rule book.
I'll have to read that rule book sometime.
You certainly should.
All I have to say is she's the cutest grievance committee I've ever had to deal with.
All right, girls, hurry up. I've got my stopwatch on you.
Oh my god. Alright, I was gonna pause it, but honestly, one, for the fact of this song, and I apologize if I sing along, this wasn't one of my songs, but this song is such a fucking banger. I love this fucking song.
When you're racing with the clock, and the second hand doesn't understand that your back may break and you take your stake and your constitution isn't made of rock. It's a losing race and you're racing with the clock.
You elected me president. You've got to have confidence in me.
So good. And again, two of the fucking best. Sam and Devin, man. The fucking rock stars. God damn it. Just so, this whole show is just so good. So good. And again, the production value in itself has always been one of my favorite points with our shows. But, yeah. That in itself was... I know last time we did 2 different videos and everything. But, I figured that was enough of a snippet with the acting and the, and everything else. So, there we go. Boys and Gories. My time as an actor, more or less. Those were the 2 performances I really had. Actually, you know what? While we're thinking about it, let's go back and we'll take a look at another performance. There was a duet that myself and Paige had. I believe it was this one.
I spoke to him personally.
Hold on
Says he
here.
wants to talk to us tomorrow in his office at noon.
Alright. So, I remember the context of some of the story in itself. More or less, the story of Pajama Game is about a pajama factory in the 40s, 30s, 50s, in that area, in that time frame. The workers in the factory want a raise. The boss is a dickhead. I play Sid Sorokin, who is the new superintendent to the factory, who is a little hard-assish, but with having his, blooming relationship with Babe, the, basically human resources for the time frame. It's a love story, it's a comedy, and is a very cool, look at the mindset of people back in the 30s and 40s, wanting a 7.5-cent raise. That still boggles my mind, 7.5 cents, because I'm not good at math to begin with, but there's that. but this next scene was probably one of my favorite songs in general to do too. More or less because I didn't really get to do a whole lot of really cool duets.
Does that mean we've won? We've won! We've won! We've won! We've won!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Now, May, he just said he wants to talk to us.
Shouldn't we wait for Babe?
What for? You know who she's going out with. Mr. Somebody Special.
Babe's alright. I didn't say she wasn't. She's just busy nowadays.
Well, I don't think a girl should get too emotional over the management.
Babe can take care of herself.
The trouble is,
I mean,
when you
she's
fall for a guy,
she's not wrong.
how do you know how far you're going to fall?
Hello, Babe. We're talking about you.
Well, of course, why not?
Are you coming with us?
No, I've got a date.
Oh. Have fun.
I will.
I got a hot date. Sleep Tight. That was the name of the company in the show. Sleep Tight. So, so I gotta put this out there. So this whole scene, again, great. Music's great. When we did one of our shows, I want to say it was the last show of the weekend or this show specifically. I honestly can't remember. One of our stagehands, one of the odd stots, they were sisters. One of the odd stots, I think it was Elena. I can't remember. But the box was empty. It's a hollow box. She had to hide under that when the curtains came up because she didn't have enough time to run backstage. She was one of our backstage hands. She was awesome. Yeah, long live the odd stots and the strayers. When we did this show, there's a point where I jump on the box to sing. Well, I realized that she was in there. I saw that she was in there. And I couldn't help myself. I think her sister was standing there next to me. And they go, bro, when you get on the box, just fucking jump on it as hard as you can. And I'm like, I'll fucking bet. So when you guys, excuse me, when you guys see me like lunge onto the box and stomp my feet, that's, if this is the show, that's why. I was trying to scare the shit out of a stagehand sitting under the box.
Here I am.
Hey, baby.
Hi.
Why do I have an awkward Mick Jagger look?
Yes, but that makes it much nicer when you get here.
Listen, I have to finish some things up. Do you mind waiting another 10 minutes?
Of course not. I love you.
I love you more.
Tell me.
I love you.
Tell me.
I love you more than all the heroes in all the history books of the world.
Tell me.
What a woman. I'll tell you. There once was a man who loved a woman. She was the one he slew the dragon for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as he. But me, I love you more.
Tell me.
There once was a man who loved a woman. She was the one he
Yep.
gave his kingdom for.
I remember, for some reason, and I can't remember if I'm remembering it right. I remember we had great picture. I remember we had a couple people try to do the jump, and for some reason, not a lot of people could land it. But I did it once, and everybody's like, "Oh!" I'm like, "It's jumping onto a box. I don't know how this is that hard." But yeah, oh god, the show's just. It's funny, like at the time, I wasn't too keen on the show, and after, I was a little iffy about it because of some feelings that I had towards students and teachers and all that, that typical high school angst. And like, fuck this play, I got fucking style this play, yeah, fuck it, oh, god damn it. Now dropping my mic, talking about my angst. Anyway. But, all in all, it was just a grand time. It was just a great old time. And now looking back at it, and, remembering a lot of the cool stuff we did, and remembering all the fun we had, it was great. It sucks, because, like, I had sprained my ankle for a little bit during rehearsals and stuff, so like there was a little animosity towards me for that, so close to the show. So that's where some of that comes from, but at the same time, oh, fuck you.
Much as he, but me, I love you more. My love is a giant, fierce and defiant, but how can I prove it to you? I got no kingdom, no dragon to back up my bragging. How can I show what I would do? I only know there once was a man who loved a woman. She was the one he ate the apple for. They say that nobody ever loved as much as he. But me, I love you more.
There once was a woman who loved a man. He was the one she drank the poison for. You say that nobody ever loved as much as she.
And yes, I will openly admit that Paige was a far better singer than I was, depending on the music. I know there was stuff she could have schooled me on, but I know there was shit I could have schooled her on, so hey.
He was the one she swam the channel for. You say that nobody ever loved as much as she. But me, I love you more. My love's meteoric, it's merely historic. The whirlwind I cycle on wheels. There are no solar plexus, it's bigger than Texas. How can I show you how it feels? I only know there once was a woman who loved a man.
That wasn't too bad. The pantomime wasn't that bad.
You say that nobody ever loved as much as she. But me, I love you more, 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 more.
More than a hangman loves his rope.
More than a dopey loved his dope.
More than an engine loved his scalp.
More than a Yoda loved his Alps.
More. There once was a man
Damn. You know what? That went a little better than what I remember it did. That actually went far better than what I remember it did. But, oh, wow. My camera, unfortunately, my main camera ended up going wonky for some reason. Hold on here, let me figure that out. We'll have to go through and figure that out in the editing process. More than inches loves a scalp. There we go. Much better. So, and there you have it. You know, that's more or less Smitty's musical career. After that, graduated and was still working with the wrestling companies, was still working with a couple different people. I think right around 2015. God, just so much time frame in that section of my life. Me and Brittany were 2 years, I think, dating at the time. We had met at the, oh, jeez, we met at the beginning, or near the end of my junior year, something like that. I was 17, she was like 18, 19, or something like that. And, yeah, that was more or less my last major musical performance, and then from there, it just transitioned into wrestling. But some amazing memories, and to have the opportunity to have DVDs made of the shows, so that once I get to a certain point and say Liam wants to get into acting or performance in any kind, be like, hey man, if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me, trust me. But all in all, it was a great time. It was really fun. Probably one of my favorite things I've done in my life. I've been a part of pro wrestling. I've been a part of musical arts. Um, you know, it was a really cool experience. And for anybody who wants to get into, if you're still in high school and want to get into performance arts or musical arts or chorus or band, do it. Just do it. And even if it doesn't work out, at least you can say you tried. It's like how I've been telling people a lot as of late who've been looking into the military. If you want to look into the military, go off to your recruiter, talk to them about it, get a legitimate conversation going, and if it doesn't work out, at least you tried. The biggest thing is you do is you can try. There you go. So, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. Thank you very much for stopping by and hanging out with us while we review old songs and performances of mine. This is a little bit of a thing I've been wanting to do for a bit, just kind of put it out there. And I feel like some of these performances, I might as well just throw them out on YouTube. But yeah, the next video in itself is, I don't know yet. I'm just kind of winging it as we go along with some of these videos. But this will probably be the last music story time. If you guys have more questions or anything like that, or if you guys maybe want to see me do some music on the channel, let me know. Feel free to hit me up. If anybody, has any tips or quips or quirks about music, let me know. I'm a throat singer. That's about it. I sing. That's about it. But the next video that I'm planning on doing, if it works out, I don't know which camera. I got the dual screen going, so I'm fucking with myself looking at each screen. The next video in itself, I would like to do, since with the last video we reviewed me doing, we'd reviewed me singing Cry Me a River at one point. The next video is probably going to be my 10-year anniversary singing that. So either do a side-by-side visual comparison of me singing, or just play a small clip of the old audio and then just have the new audio. We'll figure it out from there, but yeah. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for stopping by and checking all this out with us. If you haven't already, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let everybody know what we're doing over here and doing some cool big things. As far as wrestling goes, no updates. Not yet. I'll let you guys know as soon as possible how that goes. Currently in talks, quote unquote, with some stuff, so we'll let you know how all that goes. But again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, solemnly swear that you are up to no good. If you're having too much fun, or no, what was it? If don't have too much fun. If you're having too much fun, don't get caught. And remember, may the force be with you always.